Alright, listen up everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
Yo guys, welcome back to some more F1 2019 career mode here today, and as you guys just saw, we do have a regulation change confirmed for next season, season 5 of this career mode series. If you guys missed the last episode, then go watch it at the German Grand Prix by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of your screen, guys, to go watch that video before we jump into any spoilers here today. But this is time for round number 12 for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and you can see on screen we do have no rain expected in this weekend, a bit of kind of mixed conditions all the way through with sun and cloud, but no showers, which is pretty damn good for us. In terms of upgrades, we have a triple ultimate upgrade, one for the chassis, one for the aero, and one for the engine, which is going to mean a massive difference in the pecking order, because we are going to comfortably overtake everybody around us and become the quickest team on the grid for the first time this season, and it's really convincing. Like, the McLaren's really improved, and we've got a nice comfortable gap to Racing Point, and now Williams and Red Bull, which is really good. In terms of the R&D regulation reset for next season, it's a big one. It's going to affect the durability, it's going to affect the engine and also the chassis. The only part that's not going to be affected is the aerodynamics. You can see on screen here exactly what's going to happen, and also we're going to bear that in mind as well going into next season, guys, because I'm not quite sure if I'll be staying at McLaren or not for next season. Things, are up in the air at the moment, so we've got to try and weigh things up in terms of, the right decision. But for now, we are still going to focus on the upgrades and try and make sure we can max out this car. We've got one more upgrade to make, which we'll try and make in this episode, and that is for the aerodynamics. So we're going to try and get that in the car, and then we would have officially fully maxed out the McLaren car for a career mode series, basically. So I'm looking forward to doing that eventually. But for now, we're going to jump into practice here, and it was a messy session, really. I've got to be honest, the car didn't feel that good. I wasn't enjoying it. I never quite enjoy Hungary. I don't know why. I've just never been a fan of the circuit driving it, and they are a bit inconsistent in terms of their lap times as well, which is quite hard to predict where things are going to be. But I think personally, I'm not confident or also pessimistic about qualifying. I just don't know where I'm going to be. So hopefully when it matters, the upgrades come through and we can try and set the pace. And into Q1, or should I say qualifying, the first running qualifying, we're actually doing pretty well here. Sainz was quickest and he was setting the pace early on with a 12.4 in the other McLaren. And I was on my first run, and I've got to be honest, this was a bloody good lap. For as far as first laps go in qualifying, this was up there in my top 5. It was a really good lap, and I delivered when it mattered. As we crossed the line, we are actually going to go P1 and take first place away from the Sainz, making it a 1-2 for McLaren, and the pace looked really strong in qualifying. It seems like when the engines got to turn up, we had a lot more power, a lot more speed than everybody else, and you can see now on our second one, unfortunately I was 2 tenths up here, but I ran it just a bit too wide and picked up an invalidation, so that's going to ruin my second attempt. So now it all comes down to this final lap, because Sainz has actually retaken top spot, so we need to improve here, and this has to be a big lap. So I'm setting up the lap here through the final corner, making sure the temperatures are okay and the engine mode is spot on as we now go out the final corner, opening up the DRS, and now we race down towards turn 1, looking for the 50-meter board as a reference. Going to try and push that as much as you can. I actually go a little bit too deep on the brakes. We just about pull it back though and get a relatively okay exit, but we are 10th down, so not ideal as we make our way down towards turn 2. Again, trying to commit, going a little bit too early and actually lose a bit of momentum, and lost some more time there, so not the best first sector, and we end up at 10th of a second down, which was quite disappointing because in my previous run they got invalidated. I was a 10th up actually at this point, so I've got to try and make up for it elsewhere over the rest of the lap, and we had a really strong turns 5 and 6 as we now go into the chicane here for 7 and 8. Really strong combination of corners, and we're now at 10th up, so we've really turned that around. And even here as well, finding even more lap time, this time avoiding the extension, keeping it within track limits, and now making our way through this long fast right, using 7th gear, using all the track available to us, using some last bit of overtake mode as well as we go purple through sector 2. And this is a strong lap here. If we can hold this together with 20 seconds to go, it could be glory for us in qualifying, which we haven't had in a long time, as we now make our way into the final corner. Got to try and take a nice early apex and try and keep the car nice and tight. We do struggle a little bit with some overheating, but we managed to just get under control, open up the DRS and run up to the line, and we improve to first place and take P1. Unfortunately, somehow Max Verstappen, in the 4th quickest car on the grid in the Red Bull, set a lap time on my in lap, which I don't even know where that came from, but he snatched away first place from us, and unfortunately it's going to be second place for us in qualifying with Sainz in third, but still a strong performance from us here today. The car working fantastically well, and a lot of positives to carry over into the race tomorrow, but it's important that both myself and Carlos maximise this result while the car is the fastest one on the grid, so it's crucial that we get the jump almost up in the race. But let's jump into it. Hopefully we can turn it around, and fingers crossed we can at least try and score a double podium. But it's now time for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
What was the secret of your qualifying pace? Your R&D team has been working non-stop this season. Is this to catch up or stay ahead? Great. Well, that's everything.
It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaroring, a popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races of 2014 and 2015 as well. Located 12 miles northeast of the Hungarian capital Budapest, the 14 corners of the Hungaroring are steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been difficult on this technical 2.7 mile circuit, but the last few years in particular have turned up some exceptional races. Let's hope we're in for another one here today. With me to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who made his Grand Prix debut here with Minardi back in 2002. So Ant, this is a bit of a special one for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd say so. I also stood in to commentate on Jensen's win in 2006, and as I was a test driver for Honda at the time, you can imagine that was quite an emotional Grand Prix. It's also a tough circuit on the drivers, this one too. Lots of long, slow corners that require a lot of patience from inside the car. Plus, it's a very downforce heavy circuit. I mean, it's all relative of course, but if you're lacking a bit in downforce, or if you've got a bit of an imbalance in the setup, this is definitely one of the worst places to have to deal with that.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, and Martinez completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Russell. Gasly, Hamilton, Albon, and Daniel Kvyat, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Nico Hülkenberg, and Bottas, Norris, Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen, and Antonio Giovinazzi. Grosjean and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid, and with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix, starting from second place alongside Max Verstappen, and it's very important that we get a good start here because it's going to dictate how the race goes, I think, and I want to try and reclaim that first spot into the first corner and kind of control the race really, you know, with tyre temperatures as well. That's going to be a concern of mine on these soft compound tyres. Having said that, in terms of our race strategy, we are going to go on the softs and then move onto the hard tyres on our first pit stop. That's the recommended strategy from the team. Whether that changes, we'll kind of see, but the one stop is kind of where you want to go here, and that is a long one stop, you know, that's a lot of laps on the hard tyre, so we'll see how it goes. If I'm in first place and I've got a gap, I'll see, because also there is a tendency at this track where the leaders who start on the soft tyres, the top 10, tend to box for their first stop and they rejoin behind traffic and they can't get through. So if I see there's going to be traffic issues, then I might try and stay out for a few more laps and try and clear that traffic. Either way, it's going to be a tricky one, but we've got to try and do our best, and hopefully it's a decent race. So enough rambling, let's jump into it and let's get racing here at the Hungaroring. Right, here we go then. Let's try and get a good start here as the 5 red lights come on. Lights out and away we go. Good start from us. We get the jump on Verstappen a little bit. We do lose a bit in the second phase. I've got Leclerc looking down the inside of the turn 1. I've got to be careful. Leclerc coming in hot. We've lost a handful of places though. It's not been a good start to the race. We've lost a lot of ground. Sainz does reclaim first place, which is good for us as a team. I'm going to try and go around the outside of Leclerc here, who's got a racing point on the inside. A double move on the outside, is that possible? There's contact, but we make the move and reclaim the place there from Leclerc. Luckily for us, no wing damage. I was a little bit worried, but we made it work. Aggressive racing and getting stuck in straight away. Let's see if we can get past Verstappen straight away, and then it'll be McLaren 1-2. Got to use the tyres while they're not overheating, while they're, you know, in the good temperature window. So let's see if we can try and close down this Red Bull and make a move for second place. This is where I'm pretty strong, you know, compared to the AI. Let's turn the engine up. And let's give it some for the rest of the lap. That was close. I thought I was going to extend there for a second. I had to hold my breath a little bit. I took a really nasty line, picking up some oversteer. The only bad thing is there's no DRS, which is a shame because I think I'm going to need it to get past Max. Not quite sure where I am in terms of straight line speed, but I'm not convinced it's going to be too great based off of past experiences here. But here we go at the final corner. Not close enough. I think Sainz is pulling away and Verstappen is as well. So I don't think we're going to be able to challenge Max into turn 1. Front left is absolutely frying already. I can feel it. Being this close to Verstappen. So annoying. And those little lockups aren't going to help either.
Okay, some information on Perez. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Okay, that's good news for us in the championship. One of the title rivals, Sergio Perez, in trouble. The man that's third in the championship. Meanwhile, I'm joint first with the man behind me, Charles Leclerc, who's holding on 4th place, but he's not really got the pace at the minute. Good news is Verstappen doesn't have DRS on Sainz, whereas I do have DRS on him. So if I can get a lap where I can keep the temperatures under control and I'm relatively close at the final corner, I might be able to challenge Verstappen here. So this is good. Let's hope it can continue. I'm going to try and get onto his gearbox this lap and really try to close in a little bit. I'm going to try and stay close through here, but I do struggle with understeer with the overheating tyres. We are closer than we have been to Verstappen. I might have a chance.
New strategy is available on the MFD.
I might have a look into turn 1, but not quite close enough. Just sort of keep the pressure on him. Let's look at this strategy option.
Understood, copy that.
I'll go with the original because I don't trust overheating around here. It's quite an abrasive track for tyres, at least for me historically, so we'll stick with the strategy, but that might change anyway because of traffic, so like I said, we'll judge it lap by lap. But let's focus on getting past Verstappen here, who we're really putting some pressure on now. Not the best exit through there. Trying to stay close to Max. Just struggling so much. Oh, that's a big moment there.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
That's a shame because I might have just been close enough, but that poor exit really hurt me. Tyres are frying. Even my front right is starting to cook, which is a bad sign. Left rear as well, which is dangerous. This is getting really dangerous now. I need to try and cool the tyres down, unfortunately. I think Leclerc might have pit.
Okay, remember to pit this lap.
Don't think we are. We're going to stay out a little bit longer here. I've moved the brake bars towards the rear, and it has helped take some stress off of the front tyres a little bit, so I've recovered a bit of temperature. Verstappen pits, so we're going to use Verstappen as a guinea pig to see where the space on track is. Either way, we've got a few more laps left to try and clear some traffic, so we're going to stay out for a bit longer. So I can't quite see where Leclerc is, and he pit a couple laps ago, so I don't really know where the space is on the track. So I'll get a better idea of Verstappen, who is further ahead anyway, so we'll keep an eye out for this. Sainz pits, we're going to stay out for one more, at least one more. Let's see what the progression is with the traffic.
Carlos is in the pits.
Right, we're going to pit in. I think we should be okay. Let's make sure we get a good entry. These tyres are hell, man. These are not a good race tyre, but we've made it. Let's see. Push the pit entry a little bit. There we go. Right, so Carlos and Magnussen should go by, and we're battling Verstappen, and I can't quite tell where he is. I think that might be him there, just going through the final couple of corners with them. So this is going to be close.
Release.
Away we go, 2.1. There goes Sainz. Yeah, Verstappen's got us. He's still in front.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
So Verstappen didn't have much traffic, unfortunately for us. We've got Leclerc behind on mediums, presumably on the two-stop strategy, but let's try and get past Ricciardo. And the good thing now, I've got a better tyre to get past Verstappen with, because I won't be overheating with this tyre, so I can actually stay close through the final two corners and really challenge him. So let's start to put the pressure on and try and get past that Red Bull. We're all over the back of Ricciardo here. We've got a lot more pace. These hard tyres feel much better already than the softs, which were just constantly overheating. Let's just set up a move. Hopefully Ricciardo doesn't have DRS on Verstappen. I don't think he will, which is good for us. Look how much closer we can stay for the final corner. What a difference. Here we go. Let's turn the engine up.
We advise moving to mix 2. Fuel to mix 2.
We'll stick to the racing line as we make the move. And there we go. Easy one as Verstappen gets past Magnussen at the same time. Let's get past the Williams now and stay on the back of the Red Bull. I've got a lot more pace. I can't wait to get past it. I think we've got good rhythm on these anyway, and I think I'm much quicker than Verstappen. Dare I say, I might be quicker than Sainz as well, so there could be a couple of overtakes here, and I'm actually in contention for the race win. And more importantly, it looks like we're in contention for a 1-2 finish as a team, which is what we want. Let's get past Magnussen though first, and take it one step at a time. I think Magnussen might just stay within DRS range of Verstappen, unfortunately for us, which is going to maybe just slightly decrease our chances of getting past. Going to take a wide line on purpose to kind of come in a little bit more, the better exit. There we go. Magnussen does have DRS, but that's okay. We're close enough. We're starting to gain. Come on. We're barely putting him in, but we're going to go for it. Down the inside we go into turn 1. No locking up. Nice and tidy. And there we go. Job done. Up to 3rd place once again. Now can we get past Verstappen this time on better tyres? My tyres are 2 laps fresher as well, which is really important. So hopefully this time we've got the edge to get past him, because my tyres shouldn't overheat. Here we go then. We're tucked in behind Verstappen. I've got a lot more pace than him. The improved McLaren is making a difference, and you can really tell now the Red Bull is the 4th quickest car. But I think I've got a lot more pace than Sainz as well, as we get some oversteer there on the exit. Not ideal, but here we go. We're going to make the move. We're going to go to the inside, and we power past the Red Bull. Brake nice and early, cover the inside, and there we go. Job done. Up to P2. So right now it's a McLaren 1-2, which is perfect for us as a team. A nice strong points finish. Now, can we finish first, or will we finish second? It's going to be a battle to the flag, 20 laps, me versus Sainz. Let's get it on. It's going to be fun. That's my first track extension. As we set a personal best, got to be careful with those. Still got a lot of laps to go, so we've got to watch out. I can afford 2 more of those, well, 1 more really, because the second one will be a penalty, so got to be careful. Oh, Kimi Raikkonen's out in the Mercedes. First retirement of the Grand Prix here today for the Iceman. Oh, we've just got ourselves into DRS range of my own teammate here. I'm pushing for a personal best. Strong lap. 16.0, there we go. I was hoping for a fastest lap, but we don't quite have that pace in the hard tyres. We're starting to put some pressure on Sainz now, which is good, and we're also pulling away from Verstappen. Let's keep it going that way. Wait, my DRS just went offline. I thought I saw something on the screen flash up. There you go, DRS offline. Fantastic. It's happening far too often now. It's happened far too much this season as a whole. So we're going to have to just sit back for now and wait until it comes back online, and then we'll eventually be able to pass Sainz. But for now, without DRS, we're going to struggle to get the move on him. At the minute, I'm just going through the motions, really. I'm waiting for DRS to come available. I can't pass Carlos without it, unfortunately. And there we go. As I say that, it's just come back online, I think. So there we go. We're at the races. Let's get ready. I'm not close enough this lap because I was just kind of coasting, but I'm going to get myself onto the back of him on the next lap, and we'll try and pass him. Right then, here we go. I'm on the back of him now, properly. Just got to stay nice and close through the last couple of corners, and we should be able to get the one on him on the pit straight and take first place, which is important for both of our championships. You know, I'm ultimately going for the actual World Championship, and also Sainz needs the points to really push himself up there. So, as much as I'd like to see him win, this is a big chance for us to get some big points, so we need to take it. Here we go. DRS, now we're talking. We're gaining on him. We're going to go to the outside, actually. I'm going to play it safe with my teammate. I'm not going to try and go for any dirty moves. I'm going to leave him plenty of room on the inside for him to hang in there, and he does so. He's not letting this one go without a fight, but we've got DRS on the inside. There we go, down the inside, a little bit deep actually, but we get it slowed down, and we make the move into P1, and there we go. We now lead the Hungarian Grand Prix. Although Sainz is not done yet. He's coming back at me here. He backs out though. There we go, sensible driving. He was going to, for a second there, my heart was in my mouth. I didn't think he was going to go down the inside into that corner. Luckily enough, he backed off, but there we go. The 1-2 continues, but it's more favourable for me now in the championship because, you know, we're on for 25 points, which is good because we're equal on points with Leclerc, who I believe is in P4, and Perez, who had car issues, is probably way down the order. So it's looking good. So it's looking like a big, nice cruise to the finish now, which I'll happily take. And just to make sure we pull out of the DRS range, I've just had a pretty good lap here, and we're going to set a personal best, which is good. 15.8. I'm actually set a purple lap there, so we actually take the point away, and we get it for ourselves. Whether that remains, probably not, because I believe they're closing the 2-stop, therefore you can probably go quite quick, but still, we'll take that. Now we just got to manage the gap for 10 more laps, and the win is ours. Hitting a bit of traffic now in the form of Roman Grosjean in the Haas, I believe. It's quite rare that I actually have to tackle traffic. It's not something I've done too often in this game, period. But this is the first time I think I'm going to lap a car in the McLaren, actually, now think about it. So, quite a good occasion, and it showcases the improvement of the car, especially coming into this Grand Prix. Only problem is that Grosjean doesn't want to get out of the way, it seems. He's got other ideas, but there we go. Finally, he moves. Hopefully, Sainz can get past a little bit easier. But there we go. We're on course then to win the race. A few more laps to go here. Here we go then, as we make our way into the start of the final sector on the last lap of the Grand Prix. It's looking like a solid 1-2 for us, a fantastic result, and I believe McLaren's first 1-2 since probably 2012, possibly 2011 or 2010, I'm not quite sure. Either way, it's been a long time coming, but we finally made it as we go through the final corner, and we are going to win, quite comfortably in fact, the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it's a 1-2 for McLaren, and that is it for the championship. Yes.
That's a race win and your second race win in a row. Fantastic job.
McLaren have pulled it off. They've won in spectacular fashion here today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm really happy to see them there on the top step of the podium.
Right, so here we have the final race results then as we win the Hungarian Grand Prix, with Sainz in second, making it a 1-2 for us. Unfortunately, Charles Leclerc did snatch away the fastest lap at the end in the Williams on the last lap of the race, so he takes that point home for himself in the championship. But a 1-2 for us, a massive, massive result, and also Red Bull in third and fourth means that is also good news, because no racing points or Williams really anywhere to be seen makes it a really, really good one for us. But Verstappen third, George Russell in fourth, then Pierre Gasly in a fantastic P5 ahead of Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Danny Kvyat, Albon and Kevin Magnussen ran out the top 10, with Magnussen scoring 1 point there for Williams finally after a couple of races of missing out. Ricciardo 11th ahead of Hülkenberg, Bottas, Giovinazzi, Norris, Stroll, Vettel, Perez down in 18th place there with car issues, with Grosjean 1 lap down and Raikkonen the only retirement of the Grand Prix here today. In terms of what that race means for the standings, we are in the first place, 16 points clear of Charles Leclerc, 35 points clear of Carlos Sainz, and also 35 points clear of Sergio Perez, and also Carlos Sainz in P6 now, pretty comfortable for him as well. Good to see, as he's now got 13 points of a buffer over George Russell in the Red Bull, and he's closing down on Hamilton, so that's good to see. In terms of the constructors, we take the lead actually and overtake Racing Point, which is fantastic. So the top three covered by 38 points. We are 3 points clear at the top of the table as we arrive to the power circuits now, which are Spa and Monza coming up, and then it's time for the final flyaways for the second half of the season. But guys, that is going to be it for this race here today. We're now going to move into the laptop and put on our final ever upgrade on this car in the aerodynamic side of things, because that will mean we max out the R&D tree completely for the first time ever in any career mode I've ever done. So let's jump into it and let's put the upgrade onto the car.
You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? Things looked close between you and your rival for a bit, but you came out on top, didn't you? You had a close battle today, didn't you? Appreciate your time.
Okay, so here we are then on the laptop on the R&D tree, and we have one more upgrade to purchase, and that is going to be for the aerodynamics, and it's going to be a major upgrade for the DRS and the maximum slot gap. So we're going to get that on the car, that will arrive for the Italian Grand Prix, and thus that will conclude R&D development on an F1 car as we max out the tree on the McLaren. We're now going to focus on potentially saving parts. In the next episode, I'm going to probably have a vote, guys, in terms of what the future is, in terms of whether we stay at McLaren or move on for season 4 or 5 now at this point. Actually, I'm losing count at this point, but yeah, whether we still move on for next season, because if we do move on, I'm not going to protect all of the parts quite logically, so we're going to try and find the right balance. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like on the video and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications to not miss any videos from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.